Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. This is your match reaction. Copenhagen 4, Manchester United 3. United's Champions League season is pretty much done and dusted. Please smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. Get your comments in below. Let us know what you think. We've got a lot to talk about. And look, as usual, we've got the three boys on, Oisin, Ben and Chris. Who wants to go first?
Oisin, go ahead. You're first up there.
Go on.
Where do you start with that? 3 minutes, we go 1-0 up. We go 2-0 up. There's a red card. There's a contentious red card. In this day and age, it is a red card. There's no arguments about that. In this day and age, it is, Chris. You can shake your head all you want. You go high over the ball. It's a red card. I agree with you. It was a soft red, but it is a red in today's rules, and there's no disputing that. Then there was the penalty, and both penalties, VAR is ruining soccer. Neither of those penalties were pens. Two very, very soft pens. But then we have no one to blame but for ourselves. But the last two goals that they scored, poor defending. We sat too deep. We invited them on. There was one or two times when Bruno forgot that we were down to 10 men and started playing 40-yard diagonal balls across the pitch that there was no need for. Yeah. We made some wrong subs. Mason Mount for Højlund was just head scratching.
I think that was I think that was nearly done before we conceded, which is a killer as well, you know.
Yeah, but what's Mount going to bring you? Even if we hadn't conceded, Mount is not going to hold the ball up. I said it in the chat, and I mean, I know Ben put it in there kind of, I'm hoping half jokingly that you take off Garnacho for Martial. I would have taken off Højlund for Martial. At least you've got a centre forward coming on, a bit of strength, hold the ball up, and have Garnacho run off him and just play it that way. But bringing Mount on is just, it was a lunacy. I was kind of annoyed when we saw the starting 11, but now I think it's very obvious that something has happened with Varane and Erik ten Hag, and neither of them trust one another. I think you said it, Jack. There was a token slap on the back from Varane coming on today. If Evans was still on the pitch, would it have made much of a difference? I think it would have. Rashford, his head wasn't it from minute one. He just
you mentioned it early.
He was. There was one ball. I think it was Wan-Bissaka played it out to him. He was caught in his heels. I don't know if he's still dancing after last Sunday night or what was he at? Was he in the nightclub in his head? What was he doing? But he wasn't there tonight. Really wasn't there tonight. And then it just disintegrated. Varane, Jesus, what he was doing. Maguire played the ball back to him, and I don't know what he was doing for the third goal, for the equalizer. But I know Nana bailed him out with the first cross. You know, I don't know. Are we as well off now just forgetting about it, finishing fourth and drop out of even Europa and just concentrate in the league and try and get back into fourth position and just forget about it and concentrate on one trophy? I don't know.
Yeah. Go on, Chris, take it on, because I know yourself and Machine were kind of obviously had a difference of opinion when it came to the red card, but give us your thoughts on the game.
I mean, I got to be honest. I didn't see the first 40 minutes of the game. I was I was still working a little bit, but I saw the highlights of Rashford's red card, but I'll get into that. But I mean, from listening to the watch along, we dominated the game until Rashford until we got sent off and everything like that. I mean, the second half of the game is just, you're playing with 10 men. I thought we played well for a while, but I mean, if you notice, two of their goals came the same way. They crossed to the back post. We can't defend the back post, and they scored. I mean, the first one, I believe, came across, they headed it back, and then they scored. But yet the guy's still free on the back post, like for unknown reasons. I don't understand that. And then Delo the funny thing was he took a look and saw him and then stopped and then turned back. And then when he looked again, the guy made the move. And it was just like, and he's just way too late. I'm like, I don't understand. Basic defending, open your hips and keep your back.
It's fucking schooled by errors. So it is. Like I played at fullback at the lowest fucking level you could possibly play, and you're square on when the ball is being crossed. So you can see there and you can see there.
No, and I don't understand it. Like Jack, I played in college and everything like that. Our coach would eat our, you know what, if we were standing that way. It's awful. I don't understand it. It's as our coach used to call it, it's just laziness. You're resting in the wrong position. Rest in the position where your back's to goal so you can see everything. And when the ball comes across, you can go forward and attack it. Because where he's standing, where's he going to go with that ball? Nowhere. I mean, he's going to have to hope to do one of these little back flicks or something like that, which is terrible. I mean, it's just we're not good enough. I mean, we don't. It's just the truth. I mean, I'm kind of happy that we're out of it, because even if we made it through, we were going to get handled by whoever's, number one in another group. To be honest with you, I mean, I just can't. And I have to disagree with Oshie. It's not a red card. He has the ball. He's playing the ball. He doesn't come down on the guy with ill intent. He's playing the ball. The guy's coming into Rashford. It's not like Rashford looked down and did the Wayne Rooney, hey, I see you down there, I'm going to stomp on your leg. He's trying to shield the ball. I mean, is it a yellow card? Yes, absolutely. Is it a foul? Yes, it should have went the other way, but it's not a red card, because he had no idea the guy's foot was there. None whatsoever. And every pundit, Hargreaves, Jamie Carragher of all people, said, no, it's not a red card. It's a yellow card. I mean, it's one thing if Rashford looks down and says, oh, I'm going to give this guy a little business. He doesn't do it. He's trying to make a turn. It's different when you have all the other guys that are rolling over the ball. They're coming in and tackling somebody. They're coming in at someone, where Rashford's just turning and he goes to take a step. So now you're going to tell me anytime someone goes and turns and takes a step and steps on someone, like, people are going to start planting their foot underneath people and go, oh, that's a red card. Thank you. See you later. Bye. No, it's Rashford's the offensive player. He has control of the ball. It's unfortunate. It really is, but it's a yellow card at worst. Come on. You can't give the offensive player a red card for that. That's ridiculous. It's just awful. I mean, I'm not saying it's a yellow card, it's whatever, but it's not a red card. You don't send them off for that. Whether Rashford, and I can't speak to it because I didn't see the first 40 minutes and if Rashford was engaged or not engaged, because I was just listening to the chat and the watch along, so I'll have to take your word on it. So I can't really speak to that part. I mean, I was glad to hear that we were controlling the game until he got sent off, even though Rashford wasn't into it. But I mean, we had our chance to seal it up, and I don't understand. Like, if anything, why are you bringing in a Mount? Why don't you bring on Reguilon to play right back or play left back for Delo and give him a rest? Like, bring the defenders on at that point. I just don't understand it. But bottom line is, we're not good enough. Our players aren't good enough right now.
Ben, give me your thoughts there on what you thought of, obviously red cards, penalties, things like that. You can be the neutral between. Hold on, let me just change me and Chris there. I want to get in between us and Chris. But go on, what did you make of it?
Well, whether you think it's a red card or not, you're going over to that screen and that still image comes up. You're going to give a red card, aren't you?
It fucking does me head in.
No, I agree with Ben. Yes. I mean, the VAR part of it is just like, you can't do it. I mean, it's every tackle looks terrible.
You're both right. Nowadays, it is a red card. I won't give it myself. From when I played, it's not. But nowadays, with the law, it is.
Yeah. And what about both penalties, Ben?
Same. Never penalties in our day, are they? Not in a million. But the ball touches your hand now, they're giving us penalties, aren't they? In Champions League, especially.
Yeah.
And as for the goals, it's just, like you say, basic defending, get goal side, know where your man is.
Yeah.
And why are we playing ball back there? It's game management.
Just clear your lines.
How many Champions Leagues have ran one?
Exactly.
Put the ball into Rose Head. Job's done.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. VAR, lads. Now, and look, this is not making excuses in any way, because obviously we all agree here that we're just not bloody good enough. But before I go to the comments, get your comments in as well, guys. What you think? Oisin, I'll go to you on this. Like, Manchester United have had so many games decided this season over VAR. You know, it's so bloody frustrating. And look, we're not the only team, but that doesn't make it right either. I'm so bloody sick of it. And you know, obviously, in our group chat, we've been talking about it as well. I want it to go. I don't think it is going to go. But I mean, what's the solution? Because it's after costing us a hell of a lot of now. Maybe not this game. Well, you know, you obviously think it's a red card, and you know, people don't, and as well. But what do we do? You know, I just don't get it. I don't know the solution.
The thing that annoys everyone I've spoken about VAR is the lack of consistency.
Yeah.
We go back to Højlund against Rodri, and we go back to Saliba against Højlund. They're both the same thing, and Saliba's is even worse. And there's no consistency. And that's what is turning football fans, soccer fans against VAR, that there's no consistency. Then you'll have referees paraded out to say why it was given that way for one team, why it's given that way for another team. And as I said in the chat to Chris during one of our spats, was that's the thing about soccer rules. They're open to interpretation and suggestive.
Yeah.
That if you want to have video assistant referee, it has to be clear cut, because at the end of the day, it's still humans sat behind computer screens making the same decisions. But if you want to make it video assistant refereeing, have a clear line. What is, as I said in our chat, the group chat with the rugby, let us hear what the referee is talking about. What are they discussing there? What are they breaking down? What part of the rule are they discussing? We all probably watched the Rugby World Cup. I don't know if Chris watched much of it. We probably watched the Rugby World Cup. And every decision was spoken to. You could hear the referee's thoughts. He brought in the line judge. They were discussing it. And then the VAR or the TMO was discussing it as well. That's what we need to see, and that will help fans understand why decisions are being made. But it's the consistency at the moment is what's killing people, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I don't watch the Rugby World Cup. I'm gonna be honest, but but I was watching the TikTok, and I don't know if you guys saw it with Gary Neville when he's talking about the ball being out of bounds in the view.
Yeah.
Rashford and Brighton, where if you look at from the view that VAR has, they don't have a view going straight down the end line. They only have a view from here, so it's an optical illusion that it looks like the ball is out when the ball could actually be in. So, like Gary Neville's, why is VAR even getting in being a part of that? Because you don't have the correct view to make the correct call. So you should not even be a part of that. Like, there should be a clear-cut line of what's VAR there for. It's for offsides. If you want to, I'm just saying, if we want to make it for offsides and bad tackles, if that's what you want to say. Everything else is to the referee. And I also think that, honestly, the VAR officials, like, you can't have referees from other games. All of a sudden, they refereed a game on Saturday. Now they're sitting in the booth on Sunday. Like, I think it's got to be more of an independent contractor of people in there, because people are biased. I'm sorry. And
I gotta
be honest. In the EPL, especially in England for the English Premier League, they're some of the most biased fans I've ever seen, like talking from being across the pond. Like, you can't tell me that the guy that, you know, Anthony Taylor is going to be in the booth and he's going to be mad at United, and everybody hates United. We all know that. Everybody's biased against us. So I know that comes into play, because like the Rodri thing, like, when did that ever? They've never made a call like that through any of the games. I watch as many games as I can on Saturday and Sunday, and I've never seen them make a call like that ever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden comes in and says, "Oh, well, he was holding him." Everybody holds them. Everybody's holding.
It's a fucking contact sport at the end of the day, like, you know what I mean?
It's not. I mean, so why doesn't VAR, when someone's running down the field and you see the guy give him a tug, you might as well call that, because that's a foul.
Yeah.
Like, there's you got to, I think, because like in the NFL, like, and this is the only thing I can kind of have perspective on, is in the NFL, video instant replay is only available for certain things, period. End of story.
Yeah.
Not everything.
That's what I was going to say. It's slowly but surely, you have VAR creeping its way into more and more areas of the game, where originally you were said it was for offside, or it was, to check a goal, and then it's, now it's fucking yellow. You have to give it. And I find that referees are given more yellow cards because you can't go to VAR unless you give one. So refs are just brandishing yellow cards now, fucking willy-nilly, just on the back of, knowing that they've got VAR behind them to back them up. Whereas if they don't give it, then there's going to be uproar, by fans, if something should have been given or not. You know what I mean?
I mean, I have a question like, okay, so we have goal technology that'll tell you if the ball is over the line for a goal. But that technology can't be used to tell you if the ball's over the end line.
Well, I tell you,
line.
And I tell you why that's not there. It's because it probably costs another 40 million to put it in for each, for the whole pitch rather than just that little bit of the goal. It's all down to fucking money. You know what I mean? Let me get through some of these comments, guys, because I know a lot of people are after putting comments in here. Irish says, I can't deal with United anymore. It's more stressful than marriage. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a big statement. Luke says, it's the passing and touches, pelting the ball at each other in defense and taking heavy touches, inviting the press. Basic errors you see from no other teams. Cottle says, there's no excuses for bottling a 2-0 lead. We conceded 3 minutes after the red. From that point, I knew with these players having the mental capacity of fucking slots that we would lose. Kiefer says, we ain't out of it. I am confident we go through. As much as I know we are playing crap with certain players, we have faith we can go through in this group. Positive. All right. Okay.
We can't mathematically go through, though, can we?
I don't know. I'd have to. Even if we win both, I don't think we'd have to win like 4-0.
We need favors, don't we?
Yeah, well, like if we win both games, we'll finish up on 9 points. Now that would mean that Galatasaray and Copenhagen. So we would want Bayern Munich to beat Copenhagen in the next game. That would leave them on 4 and Galatasaray on 4, and it would put us to 6. And then we
beat Galatasaray.
If we beat Galatasaray, then we go into the Bayern Munich game. We could technically lose if Galatasaray and Copenhagen draw, but if one of them wins, they'll go ahead of us.
So so it's possible, but
so it is possible, but it's very unlikely. You would have to say. Dylan says, Delors, Varane, McTominay, Eriksson, and even Bruno give away the ball so easily, look uninterested, sloppy passes, get rid of a lot of players and get in some decent depth in the squad, or we're effed. I agree with you, Dylan, 100%. I think the depth in the squad, and we've been speaking about this for a couple of years now, the depth is still not there. Dan says, one of their players should have been off for an elbow on Højlund. He was already on a yellow. I didn't know he was already on a yellow. I was screaming at that saying he should have been booked.
Yeah.
Niall says, I agree with Chris, and both penalties were ridiculous calls. Dylan says, and don't get me started on Rashford. Let's talk about Rashford for a minute. And it's actually, I've just seen it on Twitter to go from bad to worse for Rashford. His brother and agent have been arrested for domestic violence in Miami, Florida.
In Miami? I'll go across the pond and get him.
Yeah, that's about 9 minutes ago. So yeah, it's getting bad. It's going from bad to worse for Rashford. But again, Oisin, I go to you because you were the biggest critic of him early on in the game. Body language was poor, slumped shoulders, uninterested, not making runs. I mean, are we getting to the stage where we're going to put him into the bracket of where we spoke about maybe Anthony last year or Sancho last year, where you're going to say, if we could, do we cash in the chips?
Well, look, I mean, he just got a huge contract. He's on big money. That's not happening. There's 2 clubs in the world could afford that, maybe 3 clubs. None of those are going to take him, not with his attitude. From minute 1 today, he was playing on the right. He didn't want to be there. He kept cutting in, which was crowding the space. As Chris Alves says, there was no making runs out wide. It was crowding space, kept giving the ball away, wasn't tracking back to help Wan-Bissaka, or very rarely did. And then when he did, he got sent off. I go back to that pass. It was on the halfway line. Bissaka played a 4-yard pass, and he was on his heels. Just wasn't expecting it. We've all played football here. We've all been told we might have played out of position for a game or two just while we were covering injuries or whatever. You don't throw your ties on a prime if you've been asked to start on a different position. You go out and you play for the team. It's not Rashford United, it's Manchester United. And he seemed to have a chip in his shoulder because he's playing on the wing that he doesn't want to play on. That he's publicly stated he'd rather play on the left. That doesn't always happen. If there's a better player there than you, they're going to start. And Garnacho at the moment is a much better option than Rashford.
Yeah,
Rashford
he had a really
all
good
year.
game
He was one of the highlights, if not the best player in red on the pitch. Since Rashford signed the contract, he had a stormer last year. Fantastic year last year. But since he signed the contract, he's gone back to Rashford 2020, 2021. He seems to have other stuff on his mind. Slump shoulders, throwing hands in the air, running into dead alleys, shooting from all angles, not getting the head up, just not playing for the team. And then he got sent off tonight, and he had a big smile on his face if he couldn't believe it. I'm not going up that kind of worms again, Chris, but the decision was made. It's not going to be overturned now. So just don't. There's 101 cameras on your face there in the crowd, and that reaction was the wrong reaction. You didn't even look disappointed he was sent off. Yeah, and that's the worst thing.
Oh, he literally had a Megan Rapinoe moment where when she missed the penalty kick, she's laughing, and everybody in the United States went nuts on her because
they're buying their piss, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're laughing. And I can understand why, she's laughing in disbelief, but at the same time, that's the wrong reaction. And I agree with you, Oshin. It's the wrong reaction. You need to be furious, or you need to be stomping up and down, or doing something like proclaiming your innocence, not smiling like it's a sarcastic smile. It's because for us, we take that as he doesn't care. Now, with Rashford, I think you sit him until you sit him, and hopefully he comes in and becomes a super sub like Garnacho, because I think that's the way you need to treat him at this moment. Mo Salah went through the same thing. Liverpool was calling to sell him when he got the big contract, had a crap year after it, and now look at him. He's back to being Mo. So,
fuck Mo Salah. Anyway, couple more comments here. Cotton says the officiating is embarrassing. Please get my gran in the VAR room and she'll make better decisions than these cretins. Daz says Rashford, Dalot, Martial, Eriksen, Varane, Evans, all shite lads, not good enough to play for the club. Reese says, now that I really had no intent, he wasn't looking, he was protecting the ball and he puts his foot in. It was Copenhagen's player that caused his own foul.
I've never seen Chris and Reese in the same room.
How many accounts have you got, Chris? Sad Man United can't play like the first 30 for the full 90. Dylan says, with most of the teams we've played so far this year, them VAR calls shouldn't have made a difference. We should have been well over the horizon for most games. Lack of creativity in the final third. Loads of comments to get down through. I'm going to pick out a couple of them here. Davey says, now I see why Varane gets dropped. Absolutely shocking, but have to be positive win. Last two games were true. Now, I want to just focus on that really quick about the Varane thing, because Ten Hag made a point that actually Harry Maguire is better at playing out from the back than Varane is. And we've seen Varane giving away the ball for the last goal. So I think, as much criticism as Ten Hag is getting from idiots in the comment section and these keyboard warriors, I think he was proved right there. And I was also thinking during this week, all of the criticism that Ten Hag got from taking the captaincy away from Harry Maguire, he said it was going to take the pressure off him, and it seems to have worked as well. So he's getting some things right. But Ben, I'll go to you on this one. 9 defeats out of 17 games this season. We need to turn this around quick, don't we? Or Ten Hag is probably not going to be. Is he going to be around much longer if he keeps this up?
We do, yeah. But it's not Ten Hag's fault, is it? It's basic errors from the players. How many games have we lost with basic errors? Stupid little mistakes.
But in saying that, we've seen historically that obviously players don't get sacked. Of course they don't. And the Glazers pull the trigger on sacking managers every 2 to 3 years anyway. Do you think there's a possibility that they do that with Ten Hag?
Of course there's a possibility, but it shouldn't happen, should it?
No.
How many managers have we had in, like you say, every 3 years? Every 3 years. Every 3 years. Is it the manager's fault?
Yeah. eventually it has to land on the players.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he'll get sacked until everything with the ownership is sorted out. I mean, because if it's true what you read of that, the big sticking point is that the Glazers still want footballing control, but Sir Jim wants footballing control. I mean, it could very well be that Sir Jim comes in and says, okay, 9 losses and 17, games, you're gone, and we're going to bring someone else in, because it's his control at that point, But also, I'd like to see what happens if Sir Jim is the guy, comes in, you put Laurent Blanc in as the sporting director, and you get Paul Mitchell in there to help him, or the CEO, and then the sporting director, however that one shakes out. Give the manager the necessary people around him to succeed. Give him
the tools he needs to actually be a successful manager, rather than fucking tying his hand behind his back, one hand behind his back for him.
But here's the question, and I'll pose it to you guys. Ten Hag's got to answer for some of these mistakes, like the lack of the laziness, or the lack of not being goal side, or not facing, having being open to do that. I mean, these are basic things that he needs to instill.
Well, the one thing I would say on that, Chris, is that the players that are making these mistakes are the ones that have been there before fucking Ten Hag got here, and they've just continued to do it, And I think sometimes we just have to maybe hold our hands up and go, these fuckers are just not good enough. You know what I mean? They're just not good enough.
Did we give Delo a new contract?
Oh, geez, I hope not. I think, did we?
OC, did we give him one last year? I mean,
I feel there might have been a 1-year extension, but I don't think he got any more than that.
Oh, okay.
Let me just have a check here. The law contract expiry. He signed a new contract that will extend his stay with Manchester United until the 30th of June, 2028.
I thought so. I thought he signed a new contract.
But that has to be a business deal to get more money for him. That's the only reason they would sign a contract with him.
It could be.
But the thing about it is, I mean, that's 5 years 4 years at the end of this year. He probably has a 1-year extension clause on it, like United tend to do for everything. That's 5 years. I mean, that's a big payout you're going to need to give a lad if you want to get him off the books. And there's talks of I thought Wan-Bissaka was brilliant tonight, by the way, while we're talking about fullbacks. I thought he was very good. Finally, I want to talk about Rasmus Højlund, and let down again can be the only way of describing it. He done the business against was it against Galatasaray that he done it, and we were let down, and then he's let down again here tonight. But I'll go to you, Oisín. Positives out of him. Really, really, I really got the sense that we've got a fucking right striker on our hands here. It's just unfortunate that he's got a lot of Neds playing with him.
I mean, he's direct.
And he's the real deal, I think, is he?
For a 20-year-old, he has a lot more footballing intelligence than Rashford around him. Himself and Garnacho played very well together tonight, I thought they worked well together. I mean, the two of them, for his second goal, I mean, he was chasing Garnacho up there for any rebounds. When's the last time we saw United centre forward do that?
Exactly.
He ran in after the shot. He was anticipating. It was said a few times in the chat, real strikers' goals. He was in the right place. In fairness, give McTominay his due. He had a great run for the first goal. Wan-Bissaka with a great ball around the corner to find them, and then McTominay got his head up and squared the ball. So that was a great team goal to start. But again, he was in the right place at the right time, and he knew where to be. But on the other side, McTominay knew to look from there, which shows that working together is starting to pay off, that they're starting to find one another. And I think if we could just start to get that cohesion going a bit more and keep 11 players on the pitch, and the right 11 players, I think it's only to start now. I mean, if there's any positive to come out of tonight, is that he's after getting 2 goals in the game. That's the first time that's happened since he came to United. And hopefully he can follow that up at the weekend and keep that going and keep that kind of record going.
Please.
Yeah. Hiya.
So say hi.
Yeah.
Ben, I'll give you the next opinion on that then. Rasmus Højlund, we need to build a team around him, really, don't we?
Yeah, I think the first 15, 20 minutes today is best we've ever played all season.
Yeah.
And Højlund gets the goals because we know how to play with him. They were showing that they know what he needs to do now. And then, like you say, everything just fell to bits, didn't it?
Yeah.
So he knows, people know where he wants the ball because they give it to him twice and he scored off them twice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember the last game that we scored our first chance?
No.
And yeah, everyone was kind of
you know what I mean now?
is this fucking real or what? You know?
I saw I was watching a watch along, and I'm like, really, we scored? I'm like, something must have happened. Like something, like I don't know.
My worry, Chris, is, and Oisin, you hit the nail on the head there. You know, McTominay done well. You know, and you know Maguire is doing well, and you know Delo played well on Friday or on the weekend against Fulham. He was in the Premier League Team of the Week. But eventually, these players are going to let us down again. You know, in key areas. But again, you know, a lot of the negativity tends to be focused on the bad signings of that Ten Hag has made. You know, the Anthonys, or you know, if you know Mason Mount hasn't lived up to expectation. But we've got a really good one with Rasmus Højlund, surely.
No, I mean he's top notch. I mean, I was watching him all season and the runs that he makes and the movements that he makes, and I mean the amount of pace that he has for someone his size. He's 6'2", you know, and he's 20 years old. He's not even fully developed yet. I mean, I think he needs to work on his first touch a little bit in the box a little bit, but other than that, the kid's dynamite. I think he's ready and raring to go. I just think we need to put the right wingers around him, and maybe Marcus isn't the right winger to be around him, because maybe we need to play Garnacho on the left and Palestri on the right, or Amad Diallo when he comes back, or someone that's going to feed him the ball. Like I saw the first goal with McTominay making a run. That's a fantastic goal. That's the way we should be playing. That's the way you want us to be playing week in and week out. And you know, if McMuffin's the one that's doing that and making that run, then hey, I'm happy, because otherwise he'd just be sitting back there like a bump on a log. Yeah. You know, and I'm happy for him, and if that works. But like you said, like they're not good enough to play in the Champions League. I'm sorry, McMuffin, Delo, you know, some of the guys, not Johnny Evans, not good enough to play in the Champions League. Like it's fine if you want to get into the Champions League with them, but they're just not good enough, you know. And we need to make strides. But I think Højlund is far and away the best signing that I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I agree 100%. I mean,
like I can't think in the last 5 years that we've made a signing like him. Someone that's young and shows this much potential already. Like I don't remember.
And the worry is we fucking needed him for the last 5 years. That's the issue. Like, you know what I mean?
It's true.
Aaron makes a good point there as well. If Højlund was playing in a team like City or Arsenal, where he got service as a striker, he would easily score 30 plus goals in the season, and he works his arse off as well with no support. Yeah, absolutely spot on. Guys, I think we'll leave it there because I'm going to turn off the comment section as well, because my phone has been literally I've had it on silent. It's been vibrating nonstop ever since final whistle went. But look, guys, I appreciate you coming on as always. When are we playing again? Is it Saturday? I think we're playing
Luton away.
Great. Another struggle. But anyway, look,
they just took it to Liverpool down to the wire, so it's gonna be an interesting game. I mean,
we're just crap, aren't we?
I'm excited because I like watching games in Kenilworth. That stadium is just, I don't know what it is. It's pretty. Everything's just like on top of you when I watched the game against Liverpool. It was pretty cool to watch a small stadium like that.
Yeah, we'll see how much you fucking like it if we lose 1-0 on the weekend.
Of course not. But
yeah. Right, lads, we'll leave it there. I appreciate you coming on. Anybody else, guys, that wants to come on, like the guys, official channel members, link is in the description. Go check out the options. Hit the like and subscribe button. I'll be back. I'm actually doing a Football Manager stream tomorrow as well. Episode 1 has gone live on YouTube, so you can check that out. We'll be going live on Twitch tomorrow night. start of the season. First game was against Liverpool as well, so let's see
boy.
what happens there. But lads, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. United are crap, but anyway, we're still going to be here on Saturday. Right, good luck.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Catch you later.